Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for another incredible session of the African Father in America podcast. My name is Simon Javan Okello and I am joining you from Seattle, Washington. This is episode number 366 of the African Father in America podcast. As usual, whenever we come here for the African Father in America podcast, also known as the Daily African Proverbs, because of the number of proverbs we have been sharing to ground ourselves in African culture. Since 2020, we have been sharing African proverbs almost on a day-to-day basis. And so today we are here again to share beautiful African proverbs. Particularly the one we are sharing today is from Sierra Leone, and it says that do not tell the man who is carrying you that he stinks. Do not tell the man who is carrying you that he stinks. When you hear this proverb, what is it that comes to your mind? I want you to share with me in the comments, and also I want you to let me know, if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know where in the world you are joining me from. I am currently live on LinkedIn, on Facebook, as well as on Instagram Live, and also on TikTok. And really, today is really exciting. We might not have a guest, so we are going to have a very short show today, but I have 3 nuggets of wisdom that are related to today's proverb that I want to share with you in a moment. 3 nuggets of wisdom I'm going to share with you in a moment. I just want you to share with me in the comments, when you hear this proverb from Sierra Leone, do not tell the man who is carrying you that he stinks. What comes to your mind? The biggest life lesson that I would say before I share with you the 3 nuggets of wisdom is that everyone deserves respect regardless of their status in society, regardless of the situation that you might encounter that other person in. You have to start with respect, And for me, as a father of 3 girls, I practice this with my children. I practice this level of respect with my colleagues and in places where I work, in places where I engage the community, in the events that I produce, like Kijiji Night. I work with so many people, and what grounds me is respect, So when I think about this proverb, I think about the idea that you should not judge the book by its cover. You should not judge people and treat people differently because of how they look, because of how they smell, Remember, this proverb is saying that do not tell the man who is carrying you that he stinks. A lot of the time we have parents who are not fashionable. We have parents or guardians or teachers, people that we should be looking up to, that do not meet our expectations, even in terms of taking care of themselves. While they cannot take care of themselves, they are taking care of us, Sometimes we have presidents, leaders of countries. For example, recently, the leader of South Sudan was seen on a viral video, urinating on himself. But he's still a leader. He's still the person who has been leading that country for many years. And so we've seen the US president falling down many times, and so we need to remember that we should not tell the man who is carrying us, man or woman, whoever is supporting us in any shape or form, we should not tell them that they stink, especially while they are still carrying us. But I want to give you the 3 nuggets of wisdom here quickly. And I also want to give a shout out to a number of you who are joining me on YouTube. I just thank you so much for taking your time to join me for the show today. M. Jewel, I see you. Kesiwa, I see you. And of course, Stella and Steve, who are joining us on TikTok. We are live on TikTok, and we are also live on YouTube, and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So I have to look at different cameras in order for me to make sure that I'm actually addressing you directly. 3 nuggets of wisdom related to this proverb from Sierra Leone. Number 1, treat everyone with respect, regardless of their situation. A lot of the time we respect our relatives who have a lot of money, and we disrespect our relatives who do not have anything. We also do the same with our friends. We do the same with our neighbors. We should respect everyone with respect regardless of their situation. Number 2, kindness can bring out the best in people even when faced with challenges. A lot of the time, the way that we treat people determines how they behave towards us, And so if you want to see the best in people, you should treat them well. If you want to see the best in you, you should treat yourself well. Number 3, consider the impact of your words. It could have greater effect than you think. A lot of the time, we criticize people without really thinking about the impact of our criticism. It's good to criticize people, but it's good for that to be constructive criticism. Are we criticizing for the sake of criticizing, or are we criticizing in order for us to help somebody get better? Those are some of the things we need to think about when we are criticizing someone, or when we are trying to say something about someone. So today's proverb from Sierra Leone is really beautiful, and it's a reminder, that kindness and respect and thinking about the impact of our words is something that we need to think about even before we say whatever we want to say. So the proverb again says that do not tell the man who is carrying you that he stinks. I want to encourage you, if you're watching this on YouTube, check out the first of all, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and second, check out the details below in the description section. We have a lot of opportunities that we would love for you to take advantage of. We have a lot of access that we're giving you to the behind the scene program details, details that will enable you to access the programs that we're using for producing this show, the programs that we're using for distributing this show, and many, many other opportunities. We want you to check out those links in the description of today's video on YouTube. Again, I want to just take a minute here and read some of the comments from some of you who are watching the show today on YouTube. Especially if you're joining us on another platform, take a moment, go to YouTube and look for AFIAPodcast, or look for at Okello Javan on YouTube, and you'll be able to catch today's show and many, many other shows that we've been putting out. We took a long break prior to yesterday's show. From early February to the end of February, we just took time. I was traveling to Kenya, and then right after coming back from Kenya, I had to produce Kijiji Night, which is one of the events I produce for One Vibe Africa here in Seattle, Washington. So because of how demanding those projects were, I had to take my time and concentrate on those. So again, thank you for those who are watching on TikTok. I just wanted to look at you and make sure I look at you eyeball to eyeball and say thanks. Now, I want to give a shout out to those who are on YouTube. On YouTube is where everything is happening. Number 1, I see that M. Jewel is just saying greetings, and she's saying that criticizing the one assisting you means you can get the task done alone. This is beautiful. Otherwise, she's saying that if you don't criticize those who are assisting you, and you're grateful, then you can get any level of assistance or support from people who could actually support you. And then MJ will also says that she also says that the US president is actually not a leader. I love that. And she says that based on the nuggets of wisdom that I shared, you should think before you speak. And I agree with that totally. And then Kesiwa is also joining us. Thank you, Kesiwa, for joining us from California. I want to encourage you, if you're watching the show, make sure you let me know where in the world you are joining us from, so that we can give you a shout out, and also so that I can just know where geographically, globally, attendees of the African Father in America podcast are from. Now, Kesiwa says here that this is well said, the proverb is well said, and this is a clarion call to be grateful always, 100%, and to always remember to be grateful no matter what situation you are going through. Thank you so much, Kesiwa. I just want to say that we are no longer doing this show on Clubhouse, at least for the foreseeable future. We might find a way to integrate Clubhouse to the platforms that we are working with, but for now I'm concentrating on YouTube, and then I'm multi-streaming to Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. So if you used to enjoy the African Father in America podcast from Clubhouse, where it really built its foundation, you should join us on these other platforms, where we want to expand the footprint of the show in order for us to reach the rest of the village, and soon we will be able to come back to Clubhouse and include it in one of the ways that we are distributing these beautiful African proverbs. Again, if you're joining us for the first time, especially if you are on TikTok, I just want to ensure that you follow me on TikTok, because we will be sharing shorter versions of these live broadcasts over there, and also on Instagram as as reels, and also on YouTube as shorts. But importantly, remember that the conversations we have here are also turned into audio podcasts that are distributed across all podcasting platforms. So if you go to Apple, you go to Google Podcasts, you go to Amazon Podcasts, you will be able to find the African Father in America podcast there, AFIAPodcast. So the show is going to end here in a minute, so I just want to make sure I share with you what the proverb for today was. And I want you to, if you're going to be watching this video later on, take a minute and share with me in the comments what this proverb means to you. When you hear this proverb from Sierra Leone, do not tell the man who is carrying you that he stinks. This reminds me so much of how, as a father right now, I carry my youngest daughter all the time. She's always telling me, oh, daddy, I want up, carry me, do this. But sometimes I haven't showered for a few days, and so luckily she never tells me that I stink, but maybe she has and I just didn't note it. But a lot of the time, back home in Africa, sometimes it has flooded and you don't have a way to cross, to cross the stream. And the only person that can help you cross that stream are these community members who are always very clever, and they either create a bridge or they're even willing to carry you in order to cross that stream with you, and then you pay them. But a lot of the time you find that there's a girl that is beautifully dressed. They just got off of a matatu, if it's in Kenya, or a bus, if it's somewhere else in Africa, and they want to cross this stream. And the person who is going to carry them across the stream looks unkept, looks dirty, but that's the only way they can get to the other side. And so, even though you're on the back of this person who is carrying you, you know that they stink. But, you should learn to just shut your mouth and get carried to the other side. And even if you want to talk, you can talk after you are already moving away and you're not putting somebody who just helped you to shame. You don't put people to shame, especially if they are helping you. So this is just a reminder that our timing is also critical. Sometimes we have important things to say about things that are affecting us. Like if you are being carried by someone who stinks, it affects you. It affects even how you can breathe. But you can at least tolerate it and be patient so that you say it to the right person. Maybe once you get home, if you're this beautiful lady that was being carried across the stream, maybe once you get home is when you can start talking about it, so that you don't put somebody to shame while they supported you. Anyhow, that marks the end of our time together today. Remember, the proverb that we discussed today is from Sierra Leone, and it says, do not tell the man who is carrying you that he stinks. I shared 3 nuggets of wisdom. If you want to learn more about them, you should rewatch this video, and then I want you to make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you are not following me on TikTok, where I'm also live at the moment, take a second and follow me there. And I just thank you for being there for the show today. And if you're on LinkedIn, if you are on Facebook, if you are on Instagram, thank you for taking the time. Make sure you follow me on those platforms as well. We will be broadcasting live again Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sometime we will have guests, sometime we will not have guests. But we are going to stay consistent, because we are doing this in order to make our ancestors smile. We are sharing these proverbs daily in order to also regulate our own mental health situation. If you don't identify as an African, and you are enjoying these proverbs, proverbs are in all cultures. I've interacted in researching the proverbs that we have for the daily African proverbs for this show in the African Father in America podcast. I've also interacted with proverbs from all over the world, Chinese proverbs, Indian proverbs, even European proverbs. And so unless we elevate African proverbs, unless we share them, unless we document them the way we've been doing here, no one else is going to do it for us. People are just going to take African proverbs for a joke, the way a lot of African resources are being taken for a joke and being dismantled everywhere in the world. So that's why we are doing this, and that's why we are stubborn, and that's why we are consistent. So with that, we are going to wrap up our show for today, and I just want to thank you all again. Those who are watching on YouTube, your time means a lot to me. I need your help. I want you to help me spread the word. Let everyone who has been enjoying the show on Clubhouse know that we are now live streaming on YouTube primarily, and we are also building up, our live stream on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and also on TikTok. And soon we'll also be expanding into Twitter. So with those, with those few words, I just want to say thank you again, and I will be seeing you here tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks a lot. Peace and love.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington.